I want to start with federal politics because Pauline and Albo now neck and neck in terms of primary. Angus Taylor far behind, trailing 19%. Yeah. So is this now a permanent, cemented trend, do you think?
Well, I was doing some stuff for the telly last week and I was talking about all the drama surrounding her with meeting Tommy Robinson and Dolce & Gabbana fashion shows and all the rest of it. And I said, I didn't know what all the fuss was about, but she attracts it. And I think now she's woken to the fact, the more strife she gets in, the better people like her.
Yeah.
And so she sort of, I think she's smart enough to think, well, I'm going to keep doing this because it is a point of difference to what's happening back in Australia. And the one thing I'd say, I expect Anthony Albanese and Labor to bag the tripe out of her, but the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Now, Angus Taylor, stop bagging her because all it does is promote her. I mean, somewhere along the line, as I've said many times, if you want to beat Labor, there's a coalition to be formed. As unpalatable as it may be to some, the National Party, the Liberal Party and One Nation. She's now lapping the Liberal Party. It's one thing to be equal with the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Angus Taylor, as soon as, and there are other members of the opposition do the same thing, as soon as she does something, they put her back in the spotlight. It's madness. It's absolute madness, and she just thrives on it.
I agree with you. The public sympathy is with her, and the more people attack her, the more public sympathise with her. It's kind of like Donald Trump in the early years when there were all these scandals thrown at him, and it didn't make a difference. It was, you know, Teflon. But I think the thing that, just to pick up on your point, if you put the primary votes together, the Conservative parties have 50% of the primary vote. And yet, you know, they're attacking each other instead of talking about a preference deal.
Well, I mean, she doesn't attack them. She has, you know, a crack every now and then. But I think she just relishes in the fact that the more outrageous she becomes, the more popular she becomes. Because I was saying, well, I don't know how it's going to work with the, you know, the polls.
Yeah.
Well, it's worked really well for her.
You know, I think that strategy is working. I don't think she realises it. I think she's getting very sensitive about the criticism, and I think she should embrace your attitude of it, you know, it works for her. All publicity is good publicity as far as Pauline Hanson is concerned.
No doubt about it. And she struck a chord with many people in the electorate. Many people. I mean, wokeness has overtaken us. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you know, I remember the great comedian Vince Sorrenti went on the road a couple of years ago, and his tour was called I'm Offended.
Yeah.
And the whole show was about people being offended. No matter what you do, someone's offended.
Yeah.
And I think Pauline is out there offending as many people as she can because many middle Australians are sick, particularly people in the older age bracket. I'm not talking about people my age, I'm talking 35 plus. I mean, they grew up with this wokeness. They've had enough of the wokeness.
And people are also worried since Bondi, which is really when her rise began. All right, let's talk about one of these issues that links to wokeness, the changing genders. So these figures that have come out, which show that 1,700 people have changed genders formally on their birth certificate since last July. And Ray, we're learning just how easy it is.
Well, a story by Matthew Benz, and congratulations to him for doing it. So it turns out over 1,000 men have changed their gender on their birth certificate to be women. 500 or more women have done the opposite. 80 children are able to seek the same sort of redress, and that's under the age of 18, obviously. And what happened here, Alex Greenwich is in the lower house of the New South Wales Parliament for people in other states. The Labor Party has 46. They need 47 to have a majority. So Alex Greenwich is joined at the hip with Clover Moore, the Sydney Lord Mayor. So he joins with her about Moore Park Golf Course. And all of a sudden, Chris Minns falls over himself to cut it in half against much opposition, including the local federal Labor member who said, this is stupid. But somehow Chris Minns does it. And so I start to think, well, maybe because Alex Greenwich delivers him a vote to get the 47. Then all of a sudden we get this equality or gender debate. So Alex Greenwich drafts it. He's not in government, but he drafts it. So if you wish to change your gender on your birth certificate in New South Wales, and I'm not exaggerating, you need a stat dec, obviously your signature witnessed by a JP. You need proof of identity, and then you need $73. If you live in Queensland or Victoria and you want to come to New South Wales and re-register your car, in New South Wales, it'll cost you more and you'll need to fill in more forms than if you change your identity on your birth certificate. Now,
that is extraordinary.
With children under 18, you need proof of identity, obviously, stat dec. Then you need a stat dec or both parents to say, we need to do this, and you need a statement from a counsellor. Now, whether it's children under 18 or adults, there is not a gender medical specialist anywhere in sight. And the only reason, Chris Minns, I said I'd identify you tonight on the program, having talked about it on the Telegraph today, is to curry favour with Alex Greenwich to make sure you get his vote. And that, Chris, is a disgrace, an absolute disgrace.
Pauline Hanson is lapping the Liberal Party, and the Liberal Party keeps handing her the winning trophy. That is not my opinion, that is veteran broadcaster Ray Hadley, and he called it absolute madness on Sky News. When your own commentators think you have lost the plot, mate, you have lost the plot. Good day, and welcome to Aussie Insider. If you want political analysis with no party loyalty and no protected species, hit subscribe and tap that notification bell. We are not here to defend the Liberals, prop up Labour, or cheer for one nation. We judge everyone on outcomes, and today the outcome is a coalition in freefall while Hanson surges past them. Here is the judgment: the Liberal Party is not losing ground to one nation by accident. It is losing ground because every time Hanson makes a move, the coalition's response somehow puts her back in the spotlight, as Hadley put it. That is not bad luck. That is a strategic failure happening in slow motion, in plain sight, on repeat. Why should you care if you are not a rusted-on coalition voter? Because a fractured centre-right means a weaker opposition, and a weaker opposition means less scrutiny on Labour. Accountability in this country depends on a functioning contest, not a shrinking one. When the coalition hemorrhages voters to Hanson, it is not just an internal squabble, it directly weakens the check on whoever is in government. This is where the story gets worse. Angus Taylor's position has become the visible symptom of a much older disease inside the Liberal Party, an identity crisis that nobody at head office wants to resolve. Every reactive statement, every clumsy attempt to outflank Hanson on culture war issues, only proves her point and grows her base. And this is the part nobody in Liberal headquarters wants to admit: you cannot out-Hanson. Chasing her voters with her own language just legitimizes her and abandons the actual policy fights the coalition should be winning: cost of living, energy, productivity. We are not here to cheer for one nation either. Hanson's surge deserves its own scrutiny down the track. But right now, the story is a major party that keeps losing the plot in real time. Thanks for watching Aussie Insider.